Hi everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching our earwax removal compilation video today. It's all about wax plugs today. Two patients in this compilation video. So what you'll see here, we've got the standard size Zollner tube in here. Patients come through very dark, thick, sticky type earwax here. Very, very prominent cilia as well, and very dense hair on the outer part of the ear canal. Because this wax is quite a big chunk, we've had to stay a little bit further away from the outside edge of the canal here, which is why we're sitting just behind those cilia. And you can see as I'm trying to lift this wax up, it's like clay. It's really thick. It's kind of just bending and flexing with the Zollner tube here. But I'm trying to lift it and get it away from the little hairs on the outer part of the ear canal, because it's actually dried around those hairs at the entrance, which is what's been causing this patient to have these problems. Is the wax is quite sticky, it's quite dry, but it's just sort of holding on. So we're going to get the Jobson horn in here now. And you'll see we're just going to try and sneak over this top little layer. We had a little gap there, which is perfect for the Jobson horn. So we're just going to drop behind, move forwards. There we go, drop behind again. Because of the nature of this type of wax, the consistency of it, it's like trying to scrape thick Play-Doh, if you like. Imagine Play-Doh, but slightly thicker, trying to bring that out. So what you get is, instead of the wax actually coming away, it's kind of just unfolding, if that makes sense. So you're just kind of, as you're putting it down, you're putting a groove through this and just dropping that front section out rather than taking the whole thing out. And what we're having to do here is work over the top of that. There we go. We've got a good grip now, trying to get into the harder pieces underneath. There we are. Good grip and a nice big plug coming away there. Managed to draw it all the way out to the ear canal. We can try and lift this up so you can see it. But yeah, really, a patient was very surprised by what came out. He did actually say to me afterwards, I think you've got a really satisfying job. And I said, yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with you. But looking at this, as we lift this up, it's quite a dense plug here. Now, this patient does have a history of having to use earplugs for work and things like that. You can see a little bit of dryness there to the skin, a little bit of kind of thicker, stickier material just around the outside edge there. But yeah, patient had to use plugs a lot for work. So he thinks, his theory is that he has to have this done about every 6 months. So you can imagine that's 6 months worth of wax there came away in that giant plug. Is because when he's putting the earplugs in, he's actually compressing and squishing the wax together, forming these much stickier, almost like a little boulder, if you like, of wax. So we're just tidying up around the outside edge, just taking some of this off. You've got these kind of little crumbly bits around the outside edge here that have coated these little cilia, these little tiny hairs. So we're just going to sort of gently scrape this along with the Jobson horn. You can do it here on the outer part of the ear canal. You've got a little bit more flexibility there to the cartilage. So if you're pushing against it, it gives a little bit, so it's not as uncomfortable as certainly try to do this in the bony part of the ear, deeper in as well. But eardrum looks lovely and healthy, good light reflex there. So this is the patient's second ear here now, and you can see straight off, very similar story on this side as well. So we're going to go straight in with the Jobson horn this time, not mess around with the suction tube. We've got a little gap just above again, so we're going to drop behind it. Slow, just flick. You could see how tough that wax was. As soon as I put pressure on it, just flicked off the front. So we're just going to go back in now, try and get a more secure grip. Draw this very slowly. Just folded through again. What I'm trying to do here is push into the wax so we get to the harder outer layer, this almost shell, this husk around the outside, because it tends to be harder. So when you get a good grip into that and pull, it actually draws the whole plug rather than folding it forwards. And that's what we're trying to do here. Very, very slowly. There we go. It's on its way. You can see it just moving. There we are. That whole plug. Out this comes. It's almost there. There you go. You always try and keep and maintain a steady pressure with these kind of things. That is a huge plug of wax. It was almost spherical. It was a fair size, that one. When you try and get hold of these, you try and put just gentle, steady pressure, draw this forward. You can see a lot of redness around the outside edge, a little bit of dry skin there sitting up just where the bony part of the ear canal meets the outer cartilaginous part as well. So we're just going to use the fine end, try and lift this off. Peel it down. There we go, and out that comes. And then we'll, oh, it just dropped off as we got out to the outer part of the ear canal. So a little bit of dry skin there. We'll push those little hairs. There's the eardrum there, looking lovely and healthy. Good light reflex, nice and shiny, no redness or irritation there at all. So look at the size of these. I mean, they were huge. This is what, 1.5 centimeters for the first one. I'd say about 1.5 centimeters for the second one. So about 1 inch altogether. But they were tall. You know, they weren't just quite flat. They were quite rounded as well. So yeah, fair sized plugs. Okay, so this is the second piece in the compilation now. You can see a very similar kind of dark coloured wax here as well. Looks a bit loose around the edges though, because this patient has been using a bit of olive oil pre-treatment. So they've been using this for a week or so before they came through. So what we're going to do first of all is tidy up around this edge. And what I think is going to happen is as soon as we break contact with the bottom here, I think the whole thing's just going to lift a little bit. So let's see if we can just ease it away from the bottom of the canal wall here. It's not really budging. Let's get a grip on this top section and let's see if we can fold this. You can see parts of it, the bits where the oil have come into contact with this wax have actually softened it quite a lot. But the piece behind is quite tough. It's quite hard. Those drops didn't quite get down that far. So we're just going to loosen, just kind of preparing the way really for this block to come out. You're always kind of trying to clear a path, certainly in front of the wax, especially if a lot of the wax got stuck to the canal walls there. There we are, just almost. You can see it doesn't want to let go very easily here. So we're just trying to kind of loosen this around the outside edges. It's still not. What's happening? The wax is kind of flexing rather than sort of unsticking. It's just kind of squishing it over to the other side, unfortunately. So let's see if we can get a better grip. Oh, there we are. That's one section gone. So that was the front section. Let's see if we can get a grip on the smoother piece behind that now. You can see this is quite a good size plug because it's really wedged. It's kind of stuck all around the outside edges. So you imagine if it's only stuck in a little bit, you can wiggle it back and forth and it'll detach that, it'll come away. If it's stuck the whole length down, that's a much more difficult removal because you know, as much as you wiggle the front, it's just going to kind of move this front section. It's not going to detach any of the rear bits of wax there. But what you're looking for is how this wax moves, okay? So when you get a good grip here, watch how it moves when you wiggle it back and forth. You'll just start to see a little bit of movement there further along the wax, so much, much deeper in. There we are, you can just see. So what we're going to do now is we're going to wiggle a bit, then move another bit, and kind of just, you know, as if you were trying, imagine trying to push something into a really small gap. It's only just about going to fit. You kind of wiggle one side, we call it walking it in. So you kind of walk it in. You're doing that, but in reverse. You're kind of walking it out, if you like, this wax. There we go. It's starting to really move now. We've managed to get this coming down the canal. It was a bit of a painstaking process to start with, but now we're starting to get a much better bit of movement here. Much better, but it makes no grammatical sense. Much better movement indeed, here we are. And you've got it to the outer part of the ear canal, and it's got stuck. It's just too big to get out. Let's just try. I'm going to try with the... I'm just going to try with the Zollner tube again now, see if we can give it a bit of a wiggle. We've got to bring it out and then we've got to kind of turn it around a corner to get past this part of your ear here. So we're just trying to work it around there. But as always, guys, I'm going to have to get this Jobson Horn little cape. Everyone says I have to get a cape. So you can see Jobson Horn comes in to save the day, and we're just going to draw this around the outside edge. But another big plug there come away really, really nicely. You can see the color difference here. It was much lighter at the front and much darker the further in we went. You can see where it was actually physically attached to the canal wall, that brown oil layer going all the way down. Now, I know I've said this in videos previously as well. You should have some wax in there. So we're not going to take all this oil away. We don't need to. It's performing a really important job. It's keeping the ear nice and free of infection. It's picking up any dirt and debris along the way. So it should have some oil in here. So what we're going to do is just pick up some of the worst bits. There we go. Lovely. And then we'll take a look behind that. Oh, there's a little bit of dry skin there. Sorry, it was annoying. Maybe I have to get rid of that bit. There we go. you can see what I'm opting to do here is draw along the wax. We've done that a few times, but there's the eardrum there looking lovely and healthy. So let's have a look at this plug then. Let's see how so there we are. We've got, it's just over a centimetre, just over half an inch, let's call that. So yeah, a fair size plug in that one ear canal. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. We post new earwax removal videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 PM UK time. So I shall see you again for Friday's video. As always guys, take care of yourselves and one another and have a good couple of days.